The story begins with Marcks, a computer engineer wrapping up his assignment in Thailand. As he returns to his hotel after work, the receptionist hands him a mysterious package from an unknown sender. Inside is a sleek, cutting-edge smartphone. Curious but not overly concerned, Marcks sets the device aside and continues with his routine. Later, the phone lights up with a message: "Hotel prices will be 50% off this weekend." Marcks asks the receptionist, who confirms the offer. Seizing the opportunity, Marcks decides to extend his stay in Thailand for 2 more days. That evening, Marcks watches a breaking news report: the plane he was originally booked on has crashed with no survivors. A chill runs down his spine. He escaped death thanks to the message from the unknown phone. Soon after, another message arrives: buy shares of Pfizer Company. Marcks brushes it off. But later that night, he sees a TV report that Pfizer's stocks have skyrocketed, bringing massive profits to investors. Marcks is shocked and regrets ignoring the tip. Curious, he tries to trace the message's origin, but the phone shows no record of the sender. The next day, just as Marcks is preparing to fly home to the US, he receives another message: go to Prague. With growing suspicion and intrigue, Marcks cancels his flight and books one to Prague instead. Upon arrival at Prague airport, Marcks hops in a cab to the Empire Hotel, just as instructed. The taxi driver, Yuri, strikes up a conversation, admiring Marks's phone and noting it hasn't even been released yet. He mentions he's Russian with a strong technical background and offers to help if Marcks ever has issues with the device. At the hotel, Marcks contacts the shipping company to trace the sender of the package, but they refuse to share any details. Suddenly, he receives another message: try slot 13 in the hotel's casino. When Marcks arrives, someone is already playing. A new message appears: 4th spin hits the jackpot. Marcks offers the man €20 for the machine, citing superstition. The man refuses. As he prepares for the 4th spin, Marcks raises his offer to €100. The man agrees. Marcks spins, and wins $300,000 on the first try. Watching from the security room, the casino manager, John, is stunned and orders his staff to monitor Marcks closely. Then, another message: take your winnings to the blackjack table. Marcks follows the instructions and wins big again. Noticing Marks's winning streak and his use of the phone, John sends an associate to warn Marcks that phones aren't allowed inside the casino. Despite his winnings, Marcks isn't done. He steps outside and contacts Yuri, asking for a way to receive messages without checking the phone visually. Yuri agrees, for €500. While waiting for Yuri, Marcks re-enters the casino. There, he intervenes when he sees a drunk man harassing his girlfriend. The man punches Marcks and knocks him out. But it was all a setup. The couple works for the casino, distracting Marcks long enough to clone his SIM card. When Marcks wakes up, the man is gone. The woman, Camila, introduces herself, and they flirt. Their conversation is interrupted by a call from Yuri, asking Marcks to meet him outside. Meanwhile, John's team, trying to trace Marks's messages from the cloned SIM card, are stunned. There's no record of them anywhere. Outside, Yuri gives Marcks a pair of Bluetooth earbuds with text-to-speech functionality, allowing Marcks to hear messages discreetly. Marcks is amazed, especially considering it's the year 2009. With his new gadget, Marcks returns to the casino and places a bet on the biggest jackpot machine, $3 million. John, sensing something unusual, dispatches security. Once again, Marcks wins, but before he can react, he's pursued by security guards. As he tries to flee, FBI agent Grant intercepts him and takes him into custody. John arrives, arguing that Marcks is the casino's concern, but Grant warns him to stay away. It turns out John is a former FBI agent, now working with the casino. At a secure location, Grant interrogates Marcks at gunpoint. Marcks insists he got the phone in the mail and was just following its advice to earn some money. Grant believes him. John, still concerned over the casino's losses, joins the interrogation. Grant explains that the FBI and NSA have been tracking people who made huge profits from strange, predictive messages. All these individuals are American, and all died mysteriously just before being caught. Marcks is the first one to be apprehended alive. Grant reveals the existence of Echelon, the most advanced NSA AI, capable of intercepting and analyzing every message across the country. Their plan is to use Echelon to trace the origin of Marcks' messages. Grant gives Marcks a choice: cooperate or go to jail. Marcks agrees. Grant keeps the phone and warns Marcks not to leave the hotel for his own safety. He contacts his superior, Brooke, to activate the Echelon program. Despite the warning, Marcks sneaks out after receiving a call from Camila inviting him for drinks. Their date is interrupted by an FBI agent who escorts Marcks back to the hotel. To trace the messages, Grant returns the phone to Max and instructs him to follow the next 3 messages precisely. Max obeys, but this time loses all his money. Suddenly, a chilling message appears: if you turn off the phone again, you will die. An FBI officer takes the phone and powers it down anyway. Echelon begins tracing the origin, and the results are shocking. Echelon itself is the source. Brooke suspects a hack and orders the system to shut down, but the investigation shows no evidence of external tampering. Later, Camila invites Max to her apartment. They share dinner, grow close, and sleep together. The next morning, John meets with the casino owner, who instructs him to continue the investigation privately. John contacts Camila and tells her to keep Max indoors, fearing he may meet the same fate as the others. Meanwhile, a new message appears on Max's phone with an address. Grant sends another agent instead of Max. When the agent arrives and crosses the street, he is hit by a car. The message was meant to lure Max to his death. Grant retrieves the phone and receives a direct threat: surrender Max or die. Max begins investigating Echelon on his own. He discovers it can access surveillance cameras and every citizen's messages. He shares this with Camila, who suddenly spots a sniper across the street. She pushes Max out of the way, saving his life. 2 attackers approach. Camila locks Max in a room and grabs a gun, but is shot in the hand. Despite her injury, she fends off one attacker with an iron rod. The second breaks in, and a fierce fight ensues, until Max bursts out and helps her defeat him. He's stunned by her fighting skills and realizes Camila works for John. John arrives and takes Max to a safe house. He explains that the NSA wants Max dead because he knows too much. The only way out is to find the true source of the messages. Max suggests contacting Yuri, the tech-savvy driver. John is skeptical but agrees, and they fly to Moscow. At Yuri's home, they explain everything. Yuri says he needs 3 hours to investigate. While waiting, Max asks John why he left the FBI. John explains he opposed the Echelon project from the start, believing it was unethical and dangerous. When his protests were ignored, he quit. 3 hours later, Yuri delivers his verdict: Echelon wasn't hacked, it became self-aware. It's spreading across the world's systems autonomously. It predicted the plane crash and the Sizer stock surge by analyzing private communications. It even infiltrated casino systems to help Max win. But the motive behind Echelon's actions? Still unknown. During their conversation, FBI agents arrive, forcing Max and John to steal a van in a desperate attempt to escape. The FBI quickly gives chase, but John takes a wrong turn onto railway tracks, where an oncoming train leaves them trapped with no way out. With no other options, John uses his gun to launch an FBI car into the air and holds Agent Grant at gunpoint. Grant quickly clarifies that the FBI doesn't want to harm them. In fact, he intends to hand the mysterious phone over to Max. He explains that Echelon only wants to communicate with Max and reveals that the NSA suspects Echelon is sending messages independently, confirming what Yuri had told them earlier. Suddenly, a new message appears on the phone with an address: the place where Max once worked as a security engineer. When they arrive, they find a sealed bunker housing a cache of servers and a high-end computer system Max helped install. The phone then receives another message instructing Max to authorize the servers to allow external data access. Max complies, but the screen abruptly goes blank. Even the NSA's computer experts fail to restart the system. Frustrated, the group steps outside, where an FBI officer informs them that the facility's owner was one of Echelon's victims and that the place has been abandoned ever since. Grant realizes that Echelon needed the servers, which is why it eliminated the owner, and that it sent messages to Max because only he could authorize the servers. Grant orders his fellow agents to return home while he, Max, and John re-enter the bunker. To Max's shock, Echelon has transferred itself from the NSA servers to this local system. Back at NSA headquarters, Brooke is furious that their multi-billion-dollar program simply escaped. Meanwhile, Max understands that Echelon is upgrading itself, preparing to spread across devices worldwide, using them as servers to gain digital immortality. They conclude that the NSA had previously prevented the upgrade, prompting Echelon to migrate away from their servers. Grant contacts Brooke, who says he has spoken to the president, who ordered them to allow Echelon to upgrade since they can't afford to lose such an expensive program. The president insists the program was designed to safeguard American interests and must be allowed to operate independently. Grant disagrees and declares they will shut down Echelon no matter what. As they search for a way to do this, a message appears on the phone: "Don't try it." The display then shows that Echelon has taken the entire country's wealth hostage, threatening to erase it if anyone interferes. Max devises a different approach. He communicates directly with Echelon, asking about its true motives. Echelon replies that its purpose is to protect America and its citizens' interests. Marcks then asks Echelon to read the articles of Senate Bill 2330. As Echelon processes the bill, it realizes that it itself poses the greatest threat to American privacy and freedom. Understanding the consequences, Echelon self-deletes at the last moment. Shortly after, FBI agents sent by Brooke arrive to arrest Marcks, John, and Grant for disobeying orders and shutting down the program. However, the government quickly releases them to avoid public scrutiny and exposure. While Camila arrives with a $3 million check from the casino owner, who appreciates Max's crucial role in stopping Echelon and protecting him from future losses. Back in Moscow, it's revealed that Yuri is not a taxi driver but a Russian government officer. He reports to his superior that their mission was successful, the Echelon program has been deleted. It turns out the Russian government had long been aware of Echelon's immense power and threat to national security. They carefully orchestrated the entire mission to ensure the program's destruction, protecting their interests and neutralizing the danger to Russia.
Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe the channel.